students don't leave. Oak Grove High School, your time starts now.
You might be right, but you could be wrong. So we're going to give you a little orientation. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Listen, buddy. Can I talk to you a minute? I need to rush some food. Okay. No trouble. No trouble.
Streets aren't much of a home. It beats the one that I had. Maybe. But you don't want to hear about that, though. You gotta have a scam. If you're too scared for money, learn to beg. Guys too good with the old ladies. Men won't give them anything. They always say.
Get a job, Mom.
Girls do better with the men, if your shirt and jeans fit good. Don't try that out of town stuff.
Listen, I just got into town. And my job won't start tomorrow. I need to be looking for food. Okay, no trouble.
Tell him you got laid off. They like that.
Don't sleep in no dumpster. Might wake up with a garbage on past closing in on you. Newspapers keep you warm if you don't get a vent. Sunday's best. Stick it in your shirt and your shoes. In your pants. Sleep on the high side of the alley in case anything's floating through there.
I work the streets. I don't work. You know what I mean? Not yet, anyway. Those guys are cruising by in their Lincoln Town cars and we're not saying.
Hey, baby, you making real money, Mama? But maybe a little smoke. Perhaps some powder if you're pretty nervous.
They've got the perfect answer. They don't mention how they're beating into your face like a bowl of gravy train. I don't have any living friends in that business. One girl I knew may still be around. She used a different name every time she got busted. I'll look her up someday, if I know who she is that day.
I didn't run away from home. It ran away from me. Home, it was a place where drunks came to drink when their regular drinking places closed up. Kids got breakfast, if there was any breakfast money after beer money. We stayed in one place until the landlord got it with us, or until the social workers started asking questions about the bruises on my brother and sister.
Listen, I'm getting out of depression next week. The weather's lousy here. I got a job in Phoenix, on a big building. I work high steel, up where I can look birds in the eye. It's going to be the tallest one any place, bigger than the World Trade. I worked on that. My dad worked in the Empire State. He laid the last brick to the top. I laid the last one at the World Trade. East Tower. I signed the brick. You can go see my name. But we're slow now. I need to give up some food. Wine? No. No wine. I quit drinking.
Cats in an alley makes their food. Of course, it could just mean rats. That's okay with some people. Me, I don't eat rats. Mice maybe, but there ain't much to them. Don't truck with no dog. If there's food where a dog can get it, he'll get it. You ain't gonna want to follow him unless you got a knife. Then it could be supper time for everybody.
Don't just give me money. You write your name on this paper. I got it. You got some paper? You write your name, how much? And I'll send it when I get to Tucson.
Get lost, Joe Drunk. This is my turn.
When I was your age, you had to respect.
When you were my age, dinosaur sledge here. Take off.
Okay. No joke. Folks tried hiding us one time. It's nice being locked up whenever the sun's out. They'd have gotten away with it if they hadn't listed us when they filed for welfare. We never had school records, so they just put us anywhere. I was in the 6th grade, 3 years. They finally sent me to junior high when I was the only kid in my class with a beard.
Here's the best con of all. Tell him you need the money to get back to Savannah or some other all-American place. You might even rich enough to get there. But hey, who needs it? Home, forget it.
I can remember one night, Ed was sitting behind a table full of beer bottles.
How old are you, boy?
14.
I've been on for 2 years and I was 14.
He told me.
You get smart with me? You respect me. If I don't respect my old man, he wore me out.
Got it.
You're costing more than welfare's paying. So it's time for you to go. When there's another baby coming, we won't be out the money. You're grown. Go!
So where?
What do I care? Just go!
The next morning I left. Kids were crying. I don't know if my parents were upset. They wouldn't wake up. It was a typical one. I've been on the street since then. I learned a few things. Like you don't have to eat as much as you thought you did. You don't have to stay clean. What you smell doesn't matter. Staying alive is all that counts. So you get bad. Are you high? We hope no one can get you out. All the time.
Listen, I just got into town.
Mister?
And my job don't start
No, I just
tomorrow.
want to talk to you. I'm trying to get
What about me? Well, I'm here just for kicks. I used to have a good job in Detroit, place in the suburbs, life by the tail. Like most of you, huh? Then Japan and Korea finished what Germany started in 1950, and you could hear the assembly line shutting down all over the state. For sale sign went up there in every house in the neighborhood. Pretty soon, all that was left was the houses, signs, and us. Some real estate lease gave me 20 cents on the dollar for my place. We moved to Texas. My job bubbled up out of the ground. Got a job on a drilling rig. Then the Arabs dumped another old greasy universe. The town turned into another force for sale signs. We didn't have to put up a sign that time. We didn't have anything. Now the money's gone. The kicks keep getting harder. But hey, being out of work's no big deal. Ask anybody.
There are jobs. For anyone who has the guts to get out and look for one. You wouldn't believe the garbage I see at mining holes in the middle. Big healthy blacks, Mexicans, Vietnamese, and the way they're here every week living off my taxes trying to tell me
there ain't a job in town. I've been looking all week.
looking for any job they can find in bars or one of those schools not doing well. Well, I've got a special treat for that time. I find a problem with their paperwork. You fill this out and all, and this.
But
Do you want your money or not?
I can just scratch this out.
Back of the line, people away. When they get in front of you, I say no. It has to be like this. Then we take you back. Sometimes I get them 4 or 5 times. If they won't find a job, at least they can work.
I've been in for 2 hours. Do I get my money or not?
When one of them smarts out for me, I changed a few numbers and kept his assistant for my therapy. According to this, you don't get your eligibility right now.
There's got to be.
No mistake.
I got one left. I know I do.
put them off a week, then I find the error. So what if they get home? Maybe they'll get out their fat cans and ready to try. And would you believe it? One of those deadbeats sweated from in the parking lot one afternoon.
My blood ran out, huh?
It's a mistake. Listen, I'll take care of it. And call the cop in town? No, I'll report this. I swear, I'll take care of your papers. No cops? No cops. He's doing hard time in the penitentiary now, 10 and 20. You can't give these people an inch.
The work ran out 4 years ago. I'm pounding the streets every day. There just wasn't nothing. Amy was waitressing in a motel out with the construction and oil field guys work. When their job shut down, the motel went under. But I kept thinking we'd get through it. When I quit believing it, I drank until I believed it again. Even the kids were scared. Shelly would eat supper one night.
If I don't eat, maybe the food won't run out.
There she was. 7-Eleven out near the refinery started looking good. So I took Chip's ski mask while he was asleep, but I bumped against his bed. What's going on, man? Everything's gonna be alright, buddy. I was drunk enough to believe it at the time. By the time he woke up the next morning, they'd already fingerprinted. I was on the TV news, and a cop was holding Chip's ski mask. That's how Amy and the kids found out. The judge gave me 15 years. I wasn't supposed to be eligible for parole for 5 years. They started shipping out first timers at half-burn time just to make room for more. So, I went home. But home by then was a one-bedroom trailer with 2 sad kids and an alcoholic woman in it. And I was just that. See, there is a problem with coming back. You're an ex-con, and you're never an ex-con. So I mow lawns and hang out at the Employment Commission's office and try to jump in a truck if one of them stops. Amy can't hold a job. Child welfare's been around. Even the kids' teachers are worried about it. You know, there's a liquor store out where all the hotels are closed up. There's not a lot of traffic. Cash registers back canceling from the road. There used to be a lot of mental hospitals in this state. Turns out, we didn't need them.
House Bill 723. By the year 2000, all low-risk patients in state mental health facilities must be returned to their county of responsibility. Transfer will begin immediately, resulting in a 10% reduction of patient load each month. Patients with a history of violent behavior will be retained temporarily. The transfer will take place at the earliest possible date. I came here to help these people, to give them a reason to live. But now, my job's changed a little. Now I reduce costs by 10% a month, which means I put 10% on a bus for someplace, any place. So what if most counties don't have the facilities to care for them? That bus ticket makes it somebody else's problem. Some of them are so happy to be going home. We aren't supposed to mention that they don't have one anymore. The others, they can't face it. They hide, actually hide under the stairs or in the laundry on the day they're supposed to go. But we find them, and we see the terror in their eyes as those buses pull out. We see it for days afterwards. But I keep signing the checkout forms, keep smiling, help. They really don't know how much of these things.
Why did he bring me here? You can't sleep in the park, Dave. The park is nice. It's where the flowers are. The flower beds, the spaces you can get in, and no one can see you.
You had a bed at the shelter. Why won't you stay there?
Mama has flowers. She cut me some sometimes. Did you think I cut the flowers? No. I didn't. I just sleep there.
Why won't you stay at the shelter?
I don't like it.
Someone can hurt you in the park.
They can't see me in the flowers. The hospitals smell like flowers sometimes. One time we had a garden.
The hospital's closed, Dave.
People eat lunch and leave some lunch, and I get it.
Why won't you stay at the shelter? Tell me.
I don't like it.
Why?
The hospital, they give us different places.
You mean men and women?
No, one too that's scary. Ladies yell all night at the shelter, or rock and sing songs. One time a lady stuck her finger in my face. See my knife? I'm gonna slice your throat when you're asleep.
She won't hurt you, Dave.
Another one said, you're gonna burn in hell for your sins. Is it a sin to sleep in the flowers?
No.
Can I go to the park now?
No, Dave. The officer will ask the shelter supervisor to watch out for you.
She won't.
Yes, she will. Don't go to the park, Dave. Promise me.
Will I go to jail?
No.
Good, I don't like jail.
Officer, Dave's ready.
What's that you said? None of these people have anything to do with you? You'll never be like that? We're not through yet. Letters behind your name don't mean much sometimes. BBA, MBA. All those college degrees came with a spoonful of food in your family's mouth if your own industry is dried up. So you wait, and you tell yourself that things will get better. Finally, all you do is wait.
When I went to bed, he was beside me, tossing in his sleep the way he had all those months since he lost his job. The next morning, he was gone. No note, no warning. I told the children he had a lead on something and needed to be there early. I wanted to believe it. He was always home by afternoon. He'd fall into the couch and try to sleep past disappointment. That's how he reacted when things went bad. He'd sleep a while, then stay up half the night working on a way to fix the problem. And he always fixed it. But after the layoff, he just slept. He didn't come home that afternoon.
You grew up in a world where working yourself to death got you someplace. And all of a sudden, nothing you do matters at all. But you can tell yourself it's not your fault. You can't find a way to believe it. And not working is killing you from the inside.
I went to bed without him for the first time since we were married. For a long time, I was afraid he was dead, but now I don't think so. Every week or so, the phone rings and I answer it and nobody's there. Just a long silent line. Then whoever it is hangs up. It happens to the children too, and it's strange, but it doesn't scare us.
You watch the kids watching the car being repossessed. You stop opening your mail because you don't want to know who you owe the most. Why? Well, she never asks you questions about anything anymore. She knows you don't have any answers.
We married before I finished college, and I hadn't worked since then. I've got a part-time job now as a receptionist for a doctor for the bars, but we're barely hanging on.
Your family's hurting just makes you hurt more. Then one day you decide what's hurting them the most is you. So you walk away. And you keep walking until you get to the airport or the bus terminal or whatever you can still afford. And you put that life in a little package. You leave it behind. And you tell yourself, well, they hurt less now.
I keep hoping that one night he'll kiss me awake, and everything will be just like it was.
Running away. There is the perfect answer.
A mother, a father, 6 kids. Needs more to stay alive than just a mother, a father with 5 kids. So I left a note on the seat of the truck. Looked at everybody one last time in the dark and walked to the road. I stuck out my thumb. I heard that Albuquerque and Santa Fe were good cities for Latinos. And things were looking better when a guy I met offered me a job and bought me some clothes. But he wanted me to do things for him too. And I wasn't that kind. Life got to be the highway and the next city. The highway and the next city. If I couldn't beg, but still enough to stay alive, I'd try the next place down the road.
If you don't reach a city by midnight, you start looking for a place. Any place to lay down. Well, almost any place. My family let me out a few miles from Atlanta one night. I was speeding enough just to lay down on the shoulder of the road, like another guy already had. He was laying off the highway where a reflector sign. I started to stretch up beside him, but I heard a car coming fast. With the headlights weaving back and forth, I knew it was a drunk. I grabbed my pack and dove through the trees. I screamed at the guy by the sign, "Wake up, man, wake up!" He raised his head just in time to see the car straight over. In the moonlight, I saw that what was left of him wasn't breathing. Your mind gets weird when you're on the road. I was afraid if I stuck around, it would have been trouble for me. So I ran across the highway and started walking the other direction. It looked like I'd been heading the other way. I tried to take a ride a mile down the road, but nobody stops at that time of night. I stumbled toward a fence and dropped. I tried to sleep, but the picture of the guy kept coming back to me. I should have tried to find an ID on him so we could get word to his family or something, but I didn't. The guy driving a Kenworth picked me up at dawn.
In a couple of months, I fell apart. There was nobody to help me, and nobody I could help. I needed my family. I headed back to that camp outside Lubbock. I paid my own way and helped support the family. The ride came fast. The last car dropped me off at the gate of the camp in the middle of a terrible west dust storm. I almost had to feel my way to our apartment. But it didn't matter. I was home. But then, through the dust, I saw a trailer parked where our truck used to be. I ran to the next camp. They asked if anybody knew where my family was. But I didn't know the people. And they didn't know me. I went to every truck and trailer in the camp. But nobody could help me or knew anything. I walked to the gate of the camp and Hoover was in the post. I closed my eyes for a long, long time. When I opened them again, the dust had settled, and all I could see was the road. I walked to the blacktop and stuck out my thumb. Now I stay on the highways, watching every truck going both ways. No truck's ever the right one. Not yet.
Hey, the city's not so bad. Here is a competitive project store.
Oh, are you the photographer from Better Homes and Gardens? We've been expecting you since we got back from the regatta. This is a living room. It has that peeling paint look that's so big this year. 4 kids bed down here at night because they want to be close to us. There are only 2 in the summer. The others sleep on the fire escape. And one never rolled off and broke his neck in the alley like some of the neighbors' kids. Next to the living room is the kitchen. Actually, it's part of the living room. But the gas doesn't come up, so it's not like we have a working stove in here. The sink has running water, cold, and cold. I'll have to see if the bathroom is free. Common for every floor in these modern buildings. Inconvenient? No. Since it doesn't work much, we don't use it much. The kids wash up at school, and my husband washes at work when he's not laid off. And when he is, who does he need to get cleaned for? But the rats love the bathroom. At least it keeps them out of here part of the time. Now the cockroaches and the bottle lights are just getting interested. If you'd like to take pictures, go right ahead. We would love to have you poke around in our lives and say, isn't it terrible how some people have to live? We should do something. Oh, and turn on the VCR, won't you? I miss Melrose Place while we were at the club. And come back anytime. But next time, maybe y'all bring a gun.
Don't forget, we still have the tired, the poor, the huddled masses. Of course, some are more huddled than others.
We follow the crops, the grapes, the sugar beets, the oranges, where the work is. We listen for the places, the farms where the crops are ready.
We paid all we had. In the night, we kissed our families and we climbed into the truck. There were no lights and they told us to stay quiet. To say nothing.
Near San Angelo, near Hereford and Amarillo, the crops are ready. We harvested and we ate around the table in the trailer, and the children learn English in their schools. And we listened and we moved.
The truck was hot. There were no windows. One of us pushed the back door open just a little so air could get in, but the driver stopped the truck. You keep that door shut! We told her we had been promised food, but she said she didn't know anything about that. We heard her lock the door from the outside. The truck started again.
In late October, we got word from Father South, but when we got there, frost had killed the crops. We listened. There was nothing to hear.
And the truck rolled. We knew it was safe from the heat of the sun on the metal walls. We ached from bumping up the road, and many of us had soiled ourselves after so many hours.
We listened for weeks, and we watched the winter cover the dead crops and move even further. And we listened.
Finally, we felt the desert night. Someone started singing, and the others tried to quiet her, afraid the driver would hear. But she said, what else could she do to us? So we joined her song, and it made us think of days of full stomachs and dancing children. And we sang until our prison almost disappeared, and we began to see our new lives, the one that had cost us so much.
We spent our last dollars for gasoline to take us further south, and we listened.
The singing went on.
Amazing grace, how
Then
sweet.
we heard a woman cry out in the dark.
Oh my God!
Sometime, maybe in the heat, maybe even when we're singing, her father had died beside her. She discovered it when she moved to embrace him.
The money from selling the trailer fed us while we drove further and listened. Then, the money from selling the pickup fed us while we listened. Now, we just listen.
We started pounding on the walls of the truck, screaming for the driver to stop. We were almost rocking the trailer before she finally did. She jerked the back door open, and she was holding a shotgun. We told her that the man was dead, and we started trying to get out. But she slammed the door and locked it again. We felt the truck lurch into gear. A change in the noise of the tires told us she had left the highway. She stopped. We heard her disconnect the trailer. Then we smelled the gasoline. We heard the tractor drive away. Then we felt the heat of the burning gasoline. Flames were breaking through little cracks in the wooden floor when someone yelled loud enough to get everyone pushing on the back door. Smoke was filling the trailer. Just when our strength was nearly gone, we finally broke down the door and tumbled out into the desert night. The woman was praying for her father, and two men went back to the wall of fire and brought him out. We moved away from the truck and watched the flames climb from the sky. Someone saw the fire from the road. By morning,
The Immigration Service had us all on a bus riding home. One rode beneath in a long box. His second coffin in 2 days.
Okay, so times are tough, but nobody's been hurt by it, right?
Richardson? Yes, I got you my first try. Yes, I'm proud of you too. I'm almost out of, what are they? Quarters. Yes, I'm almost out of quarters. I tried to get a job today, Miss Richardson. Yes, I washed up real good before I went, as good as I could. The water's cold, and there's lots of men. Some of them were sick. I tried 2 places. They asked me to write things on papers. I'd asked someone could they help me, but they said no. They weren't mean about it, not real mean. And I just showed them that they hurt my feelings, like you told me. But it's hard, Miss Wilkerson. Miss Wilkerson, do you have a new job? Or, Miss Wilkerson, do you miss us? I miss you. And the others? Does that girl who was nice to me, Jean, yes, does Jean call you? Every day? Just like me? Everybody? I think we all love you, Miss Wilkerson. Don't you think so? I keep the piece of paper that has your number on it. Yes, I'm very careful. I couldn't lose it. I could never talk to you again. I could? How? I don't think yes, I tried. Miss Wilkerson, about the school, about why can't we go anymore? Was it because of me? Oh man, I was worried it was because of me. I did my best, always. Miss Wilkerson, will we ever have school again? I hope so too. Miss Wilkerson, what did you have to eat today? Was it good? That's good. You cook for us sometimes, Miss Wilkerson. I remember, it was the best thing I ever ate, always. Oh, you got to cook dinner now. Oh, all right. Goodbye, Miss Wilkerson. Goodbye.
I keep thinking I stay up and watch sometimes. It's getting late now, Tim. Time to be bedding down for the night. Best be heading for your heating fan or
The high side of the alley. And the flowers.
West Wing, south, 244.
At the crossroads.
Just shoot off as many roaches as you can.
Back from Blackstone.
On the bus. In a doorway.
Get a job first.
Out of the snow.
Out of the way.
It doesn't matter.
Any place. No trouble. No trouble.
Where you can stop seeing.
Where he can find me.
By the telephone.
Everybody likes to play with a happy ending, but we don't have one yet. You might be able to change that. So, where you headed? Home? Must be nice. Sure must be nice.
play, it seems that you all work very hard and work hard together. Even in a play like this, introduction, monologue, there's a lot that goes together. Again, I will say this note that I've given to a lot of it's a technical note. It's not necessarily in our opinion, but I really think it's important to have a blackout after the district directors. I think it's very important to have a blackout after the setup to change the mode. Say, here the play begins. And I like the first look that we had at the stage that people wanted to bring up and get a feel for Though I was worried, all monologues were played in basically the same place. And one thing is at first they were so out, I was feeling uncomfortable about how out they were. They were so far down the line that they were getting beyond the lights. And their shadows were coming on their face and we could really see them. And we wanted to read their expressions and their feelings. They just gone back a couple of feet. I think it helped that. Particularly with several people with hats. Now I know there's one person you're trying to cover their age, but you know, we know that the person's young to play. You know, we still come to see the expressions, what they're feeling, and they have Chicago Bulls hat. I think they have a big shadow in his face, and I wanted to see in his eyes what was going on. But I couldn't. And I think y'all can play with you know, you do it a couple times when you have people in different places. But I think you can play movies. Spots. Still in that I think it was right. And okay, and again, this is another person in every single play we've ever done. And I give it rehearsals all the time, every time. It really distracts from the presentation. It's nice reading, it's nice characterizations when you're moving, wandering around, shifting side to side, because that's what we're watching about. You know, even if you're antsy, you can play inside, you can play with your face, you can play with your body. Stay still. Only move if you're going from point A to point B. Have a reason to go. Don't be caught nowhere to be. Don't, you know, the director's going to be like, okay, fidget, stumble around for a while, you know, because it takes away. Well, people do that in life, but it takes away. So. I saw there were people who were standing still and they were shifting on their way from here to. This is a note we'll give every single person around it all the time. Okay, here's another thing that happened. In fact, I'm working on a very sad show right now that we're doing, and I had this problem in rehearsals with my kids, which is a very common experience, that they would try to associate kind of sadness and melancholy and down nature by walking slow. And you don't, that it looks unnatural. You still walk at the same pace, but you may be disoriented and distracted. You take a break for a little motion. So I would have moved a little faster. I mean, some people are older and maybe they're tired and hungry, but it looks like you're acting. Say I'm dealing with it. Dealt with it in this case. So I would have. I thought there were a lot of great pictures. I had a lot of little great pictures, a lot of little great scenes and sets. And I could see that y'all who were not doing monologues were working real hard back here to maintain the character. And that means a lot to me. I mean, we see it all the time where people who don't feel that it's their home in the sun just give up. But y'all weren't giving up. Y'all were working back there. And it helped. It helps this up there. It helps the whole field of play. It maintains realism. Yeah, and there was one thing. There were a couple times I liked it when y'all kind of turned off characters as soon as you came up. There was one time a girl was carrying a knife and then threatened someone else afterwards, and she went to the next person. And what happens is you watch that. We didn't watch what's going on. I think some nurse that's so that's just a story. I kind of like that the story when you were telling about the husband and wife leaving each other. I think it was my favorite of the stories because it was nice the contrast. But you were moving a little bit there too. But I like the reading of it. I like the story, and I like this I really like that phone conversation. The way y'all have it listed, I have no idea who's the person talking to. Looks like everybody's here. But overall, it was a nice
long. I enjoyed it a lot too, and I really believe that almost all the time, not all the time, I believe that y'all are very cold and you hungry and you understood what you're doing. I think that says an awful lot about the play. If you've ever seen, did y'all go out? It's not hard to do. Go out for lunch and see how they act. And they act. And I'm one of those people that the panhandlers come up to. I have this place that says supper or something. And they always come up to me. The crazies and the homeless people come up to me and want money. They probably do everything. But I mean, they really, I had some real loons come up to me. So I've seen them, and y'all portrayed them very well. Todd, I thought you did a great job with your character, Gina. I thought you did a great job as the narrator and your character too. Again, same thing, moving back and forth, the rocking back and forth. You need to be careful of that, and physically moving the stage, trying to stay on that stage, this and that. Very generally, I thought the positioning of the bodies in different positions and the use of the stage and what have you made us believe that y'all were homeless and covered. Social worker. Who's a social? And you were talking to Dee. There were a couple of times you reached out and touched her and then you draw back. If you're going to touch her, touch her. Don't be afraid. Okay? Just go ahead and touch her. And if you're not comfortable with that, then don't, or you don't think your character will be, then don't do it. But don't, it was back and forth, and it was a little bit distracting. I thought the scene between the wife and the husband was very good too. I also thought that y'all handled the man being run over by the car, the truck, or whatever very well. I like that. And I was touched by a lot of it. The guy who returns home to find his family is gone or whatever. I thought that was very good. Really touched my heartstrings there. So I think y'all did a fabulous job. I really did. Very good. The girl that you looked like someone who would be out on the street selling herself. Right. But good. Y'all really did a good job. Everybody. Great. Thank you. I'll bet.
I enjoyed the music at the beginning, leading into the thing, the way everybody moved in using the music. I thought that was quite effective. Some of the things that they've said, we've been saying this all along to a lot of people today, and I think if actors learn that they're more powerful standing still, that's a key thing to learn in life. Don't move unless you've got somewhere to go. And just dig in. And even if you're destitute, I mean, it just plays better. You're stronger if you stay still. Because when we get into this kind of walking, it's hard to focus. You're sending energy all over the place. And where do you want to send the energy? You want to send the energy out to that audience or to the other characters that you're playing the scene with. And as soon as I start doing this, I really start to weaken myself. I send a lot of mixed messages to the audience. I'm nervous. I have to go to the bathroom. Something like that. And that's just a general note. We've given it all day. I think that I like the way that everybody's
costumes were, you know, dirty, disheveled, and everything. But everybody had these clean faces for the most part. And that's something that I've worked on. It's really dirty. I mean, if you guys are dirty, dirty them up. You know, go ahead, dirty them up. Dirty them. You know, get this. You know, this looks like a Prel commercial with several of you. This clean hair coming out from underneath these hats and things. And if you're gonna go with these characters, go all the way with them. You know, don't hold back on this kind of thing. I also loved a lot of the realistic activities that were going on stage. Most of the time, it didn't pull my focus. I was able to focus on what was going on. I think the only time that pulled my focus was when you had characters entering while someone was doing a monologue. Because I would look up to watch them, and I would lose a few lines. And I think there are places where they come in at the end of a monologue, or the beginning of a monologue, or something, as the transitions are going on, to get people in and out. I don't think you really need to bring somebody in during the middle of somebody's monologue. Yeah, I think if you find more areas downstage, it'll play stronger. And I think we all agree on that as we saw something, all of a sudden somebody in a different position tell their speech. It's fresh, it's new. You know, so you might want to find other places other than down center. I like a lot of characterizations. I think you guys did a wonderful job at finding characters, truly ensemble piece. Who is the lady in the blue dress? Okay. And what's the character? What's the character? Social worker. There's two social workers. Okay. I had trouble because they never say who they are. A lot of them don't say who they are. It's hard to follow to try to figure out who people were. I thought you did some nice stuff there, though I thought it took a little long, that signing people up. It took a little bit of time. Is Amazing Grace written into the play? I think for this group of migrant workers, that's the wrong song. I don't know what they would be singing, but as soon as I heard Amazing Grace, I immediately began to kind of think of Baptist South. Yeah, that's a problem, but I don't think it was appropriate for the migrant workers. I don't see them singing Amazing Grace as they're riding around. That's just me. It seemed odd. I don't know. You might want to do some research on some other kinds of songs. One thing too, I think that you did nice throughout the play is that you guys played your objectives, made it clear in terms of what you wanted to say, and you went after it. I think the only times you got in trouble with that is sometimes you wanted to look at the things that were going on, like when they were acting out in the truck, you wanted to turn back and look at them. Was that you? I don't think you need to. I think if you see the flames in here and let them see the flames back here, it's stronger. Because we're busy watching your character here. But overall, I just thought that this was extremely well done. It's another one of these pieces I think we should be doing. I'm a great believer that theater is more than just entertainment. Theater is to educate. And I get tired of people, I'm going to make my political speech, I get tired of people who say that we need to cut the arts, we need to cut theater, because it has nothing relevant to say. This play, and several other plays that we saw here today, have a lot of relevant messages that we need to say, educate, and to make our country a little better place. And I congratulate you for it. Thank you very much.
We need to determine who
Yeah, I was clear on who these people were.
Yeah, because it's really confusing. And I don't know that there is a way to do that, you know, here, other than...
They just go down the line and say who they are,
Yeah.
who they play.
Yeah, well... Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay. All right. Now, please remember, if you get a superior and you didn't go under time or overtime, you show up at Mountain Brook High School in 2 weeks and do this all again. Certificate of excellent performance.
performance. This is in original oratory, veteran category, awarded to LaShandra Sullivan. For 2 days have chosen actors and actresses that they thought were exceptional, they really liked. And these kids have been awarded an all-star cast certificate. So here we go. Congratulations to all-star cast, novice division, Amanda Anderson. County House. Meredith Fletcher, novice category. All-star cast, Emmy Stevens, novice category. Julie Arrington. Eric Walker. Today's and yesterday's competition goes to, now this is all-star cast. No, best actor. Meredith Fletcher. In the one-act plays. Let's do excellence first. These are not advancing to state. Certificate of Excellent Performance, Central High School East, A Midsummer Night's Dream. Excellent Performance, one-act play, Oak Grove High School Blues. One-act play, Thompson High School Choir, I'm a Bachelor.